kind of want my teacher spring break away from students, right? So I'm trying to stay away from my kids halfway through spring break. It's the last day of March, so you know what that means. It's Niki's March Homeschool Update 2021. Let's get going. All right, guys, welcome back. It's Niki with That Homeschool Life, where I bring you real, honest, and practical homeschooling information. Now, today is March 31st, and I wasn't going to put this video out tomorrow for April Fool's Day because I'm not no fool. Neither are you. Today, we're going to talk about everything that I did during the month of March. So I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes. Y'all hold me to that. So for my 8th grader, oh Lord. Now, he's going to 9th grade. So I spent all of March getting him prepped, getting his schedule prepped for next year. So I registered him for a couple of online classes. Y'all know in March and April, you got to catch those early bird specials, and you got to make sure you're registered so you can get those popular classes that fill up fast, and then you're on the dreaded wait list, not knowing what your future's going to be come August or September. First off, let me just say I apologize for the noise. It is a fan. It is super hot in here, and I cannot open my door because my neighbors are very, very loud, but I figured you would rather hear the hum than the cackles of these cackling hens. I hate to say cackling hens, but they do sound like cackling hens next door. So I registered my 8th grader for Mr. D's pre-calculus online class for the fall, okay? Check, math is done. For science, I have him registered for Clover Creek Physics. It's conceptual physics, and it's online, and y'all can't get into the class. It's closed, and the waiting list is a mile long. For some of those online classes, you gotta register in February, March, April at the latest to be able to make sure you can get a slot for your child. So math, Mr. D pre-calculus, check. Science, physics, check. Writing's all on me. I was looking at online classes, and I was like, oh, they're not going to give the kind of feedback that I know that he needs and that I know that I can give. I have a writing background, so writing's going to be all on me. Believe me, I looked for some online writing classes. I saw one or two, but I think it's going to be a little too much writing. It's writing composition with literature, and it's a lot of reading and a lot of writing, and he's already going to be taking a full load. So writing's on mama. For technology, he's already signed up for, but there is a free class. Y'all know Harvard, you know all these Ivy Leagues, they have free classes online. You just got to pay if you want to get a certificate. He'll be taking Harvard's game theory or game design. It's a year-long class. For reading or literature, we are tying in our main reading with economics. Next, we're doing economics. So we only need a half credit of econ, but in actuality, economics is way important. So we're spending a whole year on it. And so it's going to be on me. And I already have the books. I will be showing that in a more detailed video on our curriculum choices. But just know for economics, we are using The Creature from Jekyll Island. We're using The Price of Tomorrow. And we're using a couple of other sources and with some videos and documentaries. And that's on mama, okay? That's on me. Spanish is outsourced to Homeschool Spanish Academy. Check, done. Next. For history. Now, it's on mama. This is on me once again. We are taking snapshots of a certain time period, the 1940s, the 1930s to the 1950s, and we're taking a snapshot of that history, and we're going all around the world. I'm just going deeper on each continent. So I gotta see how I want to put that together. But that was kind of like by his request, based off of a documentary that he was watching that did quick snapshots. It's great if you have ADHD, but it had quick little snapshots of things that were going on at the same time, so you could connect the dots, then focus on world events. So that should be a really fun class. So history, check. And then for financial literacy, he just finished a Cool Kids Fund financial literacy class. It was just a 4-week long class, and once you completed the class, you get one free stock. Today was the last day of class. We won't know what that free stock is until whenever, but he's also in, I think I signed him up in February, but March is where he really took off with his weekly online class that I pay monthly for, but it's a stock market class. And so right now he's learning how to put together a research report, how to research companies and to look at all the financials for a company. Okay, and then for my 8th grader, he got grounded because in his math class, he got caught playing video games, so I had to shut that down. So for the month of March, he ain't had no access to anything. I wiped every game, every app, nothing on the phone, nothing on the iPad, nothing on the laptop. Y'all, he was like going through withdrawals but he's doing fine now. He's rediscovered puzzles, his books. It's a win-win. Tomorrow he gets his stuff back. So I don't want to give him back his stuff. I don't want to give him back the electronics. So I'm trying to think, ooh, I need him to break a rule so I can snatch the technology back again. So he'll probably do something before 12 o'clock before he gets all of his rights back to his tech. So we'll see. Extracurriculars. So we're still doing karate. This is like his 8th year in karate. I forget what color belt he is. He's like 2 colors away from brown. He's still doing piano. This is his 6th year doing piano. He's been doing parkour for a while. He's been doing well in that. He's doing flag football. And I think that's it for extracurriculars. So he's set. He's straight for the fall. And I'm set for March. I got the core classes done. So, you know, everything is straight up. So for his transcripts, I only have to, you know, put the work in for the writing and the history and economics. It shouldn't be a problem. It's just a little bit more work. And then finally, I've been getting together with some other moms to put together an 8th grade ceremony, a graduation ceremony for our babies. He's going to have a virtual graduation ceremony, and we're thinking, the 2 of us are thinking, you know, if he wants to do something, maybe, you know, play piano or do some kata, some forms or whatever, you know, do some parkour stuff, whatever, girl. But just if there is anything he wants to showcase to the other 8th graders. So hopefully that will be a really nice ceremony for him. And then with the family, we're going to go out and celebrate. And I'll probably give him a little more privilege. Like, what's a nice privilege to give to your child who's going to high school? I better call my sister and ask her. What's a nice little thing to make them feel like, oh, I'm in high school now. He is doing driver's ed with me. Oh yeah, okay. So we only did it twice because it was a crazy week. A crazy month. But we resumed Mom's driver's ed class. I put it on pause because of COVID. They had all the parking lots closed and everything. But now that California, oh look, I'm sweaty. But now that California has opened up, I could teach my son driver's ed. So we did 2 classes of Mom's driver's ed. We actually had to start all over because it's been so long. But that's my 8th grader. Let's move on to my 6th grader. So let me just combine my 6th grader and my 4th grader. And then for my 8th grader, I talked about what he's doing in the fall, but let me just kind of lump them all together so I can get this video under 15 minutes. So for my 6th and 4th grader, writing. So writing and rhetoric. My 6th grader, we skipped book 4. He finished book 5. He's kind of we're starting prep for book 6, but we're going to pause it for just a second because we picked up Right Source, and he really likes Right Source because you can really bring in those 6 traits of writing, which he knows. So I haven't decided yet, but I'll decide come Monday because we're currently on spring break, but I'll decide if we're going to pause book 6 of writing and rhetoric and dive in with Right Source, or just save Right Source for the summer or for the fall. So stay tuned for that. The same goes for my 4th grader. He's done with 3. We're going to skip 4 and we're going to start 5. And I'm thinking maybe Right Source for those 2. I'll see, but that's kind of like where we are. So writing and rhetoric is good, but I noticed, quick sidebar, for writing and rhetoric for book 3, which my 4th grader finished, is outlining, and I found that I needed to supplement the outlining with writing and rhetoric, and I have a great little book on that, and I'll have a video on that outline resource. It's a real thin book. You can knock it out in like 2 or 3 weeks or less. So that's my 6th and 4th graders. So, and then for reading, we're doing a lot of read aloud. We're doing the the Black tutors. We're doing Blacks in Tudor Society. We're basically talking about Black folks in medieval England, Italy, France, all throughout Europe. We're talking about the Blacks that were there. And so we're doing a lot of read alouds, and we're listening to videos, and we're watching videos on YouTube. And I have two of my favorite lecturers and professors, Kaba Hiawatha Kamene and Professor James Small. They do a fantastic job of actually, was it Professor Smalls? I don't think it was Professor Smalls, but it was definitely Kaba Hiawatha Kamene. And they're just so enthralled with listening to these great men speak eloquently and extensively and intellectually and passionately. So that's really history and reading. So history and reading is combined. We're still doing Story of the World, the medieval ages. They love that. We're mixing in the fall of civilizations, lots of other documentaries. History has become everyone's favorite subject. I love that. Okay, check for history. Reading. The boys want to finish the Lemonade Wars, the series. Who knew? Once we started doing our financial literacy class, I was like, hey, let's do the Lemonade War for my youngest one, because he was the only one who hadn't read it. And then my older two who read it were like, oh, well, we're reading with him. And so it's just amazing how you got to read a book at least twice, right? You know, once, and then maybe a few years later or a few months later, just when you have some more knowledge of self, right? And so when my two oldest kids read it, they were just reading it because it was a novel unit guide. It was work. But now that they have a financial background, when they read the book, they were able to make connections and say, oh, that's what that meant, or that's what that means, or oh, that's what that looks like. So I don't know if the other series goes that detailed, you know, with the financial concepts. I think my oldest one read a couple of them, but I was just like, here, go read. So I'm going to see what I ordered. Book 2 and I think book 4. Book 3, I have no idea where it is. My son swears it's somewhere in his room. Who knows? And for math, they're both doing Beats Academy. My oldest, my 6th grader, he's kind of done with it. He wants to go back to Singapore math, and I don't blame him, because he was into the books and then the online games, but not the online class. So, you know, the online class, this will be our swan dance for that. And then I'll have to decide if I want to go back to Singapore, because he'll be in 7th grade. I think that's the Dimensions book. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do for 7th grade math for him. I might just have him do Singapore 6, the book, because once you finish Singapore 6, you're ready, I believe, for pre-algebra. So I got to recalculate and you know, go to the drawing board. Actually, April, I'm going to spend planning for my 6th grader and my 4th grader. So there you go for that. So that's the academics. Now, for everything else, you know, California has finally opened up. California is open. So we're on spring break right now. So yesterday we went to Knott's Berry Farm. Those of you in California know it's an amusement park, and it's got other stuff, and it's got a whole bunch of other stuff involved with it. But basically, it's an amusement park not that far from Disneyland, and they had a taste of Knott's, where Knott's Berry it's a boysenberry. I think the boysenberries grew all over the farmland or whatever. It's a huge place. And so they had a taste of Knott's Berry. And so you go and you sample like over 80 different dishes that involve boysenberry in some way, shape, or form. So we went there yesterday, and they had like boysenberry pizza, boysenberry bundt cake. Everything was boysenberry and purple, and I wore my little purple print shirt to represent the purple ones. So we did that yesterday. That was for spring break, and then we're going hiking, and then that's all I'm doing with them. They can do things on their own, because I kind of want my teacher spring break away from students, right? So I'm trying to stay away from my kids halfway through spring break. So that is what it is. I think I covered everything. If not, you know, catch me on a live, ask me some questions, and I can go more into detail about March, okay? This is Nikki with That Homeschool Life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me in these YouTube streets. and I will see you another day with another video. Love you guys. Mwah.